online. And yeah, as we agreed, I was thinking about some of the issues. And as I understood, Alice, you will be coach and John is a co-pilot. And we have a powerful supervisor today, from faraway country, and so somewhere in the peninsula, our supervisor is sitting and watching kind of over us. So let's start. I am in your hands, Alice.
Okay, it's good to have Alex in my hand. I'm in control.
Yes.
Okay, today we're going to kind of be doing something different, kind of seeing how we can work with metaphors and metaphor coaching. So, Alex, the first thing, can you help me to understand exactly what it is you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I definitely kind of happy to share some content. Uh, it happened from childhood that I developed some nearsightedness or myopia, they call it, I think, in ophthalmology. So I am nearsighted, and it started from 11 years old, and it's actually caused me lots of kind of problems, and it's actually, as a result, I would put it this way, it stopped two of my careers which I was planning. First I was thinking to become a football player, and I was discharged from the because of medical examination, and myopia was already minus, I think, 4 at that time, and so I was kicked off of the boarding school for football players, like a young age type of. And then later, when I got graduated already from after university and PhD, and I got again some huge problem with the eyes. And so after a while, I decided that I really need to make an effort to find the solution, because my myopia was already really, really high. Actually, normal people probably would not even walk. It's like minus 16. It means that if you are familiar with that system, I don't know, it's a Russian system. Minus 16 is like a very thick type of glasses you're supposed to have. You practically cannot read. Yeah, practically kind of blind almost. So that was my eyesight after university. And so I started to work, and I tried different systems. And the first one is Dr. Bates, kind of published some book, and I tried to do Bates exercises. Somehow it didn't work for me. So eventually I come up with my own system, and I made some huge progress. Huge, I mean, in my understanding, when you can make it from minus 16 to 100% vision, it's actually, in my understanding, it's really huge. But there is a problem in that, and this is where my issue, I am coming to my kind of today's topic, is that I reached the point where I'm not sure how can I progress further, because I get to the point when I know how I can do my eyesight on every eye is up to practically 100%, but I cannot hold it for long. And so I do exercises, I can see already like the practically perfect vision, and then when I stop, the eyesight is downgrading kind of back, not fully back, but substantially back. So I feel myopic again. So as a result, I'm in that kind of strange zone already for many years. And it's not like I'm discouraged, but I'm not sure what exactly am I supposed to do. I feel in kind of stuck. I mean, I'm not sure what else, how move forward, and what exactly kind of would motivate me to finalize it, where the solution really is. So that's where I am right now.
Okay. Some of the things that I'm hearing is this started when you was around 11.
Yeah.
So as a child, you found a way to progress to where you are now, and you can't seem to hold it. You're at a good level, but you want to be at 100% of the time. Okay, so where I am going with this is you started at a young age, it got better, and then now you want it to stay at better. So if you were thinking about anything in nature, anything in anything in the world, at first, when it's first new, before 11, you had no problem. Then it started at 11. So it was new, a problem happened, and then you recover it. And now you want to go back to what stage? To new? To where it was when it was new?
Let me let me just clarify a little bit. It started at 11, and it got so much worse. So it's the myopia was progressing. Like when I was 11, it was -1. When I was 12, it was -2. When I graduated from my school, it was -6. When I graduated from university, it was -15. So it actually went really rapidly worse. So that's what happened. And later, I decided that I need to take the matter in my hands, otherwise I will be completely blind. And I started to search for solution. And I believe that, to be honest, I know the year when I was started. It was 1998. So 22 years ago, I started to search kind of or try to find the solution. And I found my own solution, and I reached some kind of plateau. So right now I am in some kind of strange zone when I believe I found some interesting solution, but it's not full solution for me. So I'm kind of reaching some kind of strange zone where I cannot really resolve the whole issue fully, and I'm like 80%, I would say, resolved it. Is it more or less clear what
Yeah,
I just?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if we wasn't talking about your eyesight, can you think
Yes.
of anything else in life, in nature, that starts off new, then a problem occur, then it slowly change what was thought as a problem, maybe it transformed into something better?
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of anything?
I'm thinking. Started new, then something moved, and then back.
Let's go with a seed. What about a seed? If we thought about a seed,
Mm-hmm.
at first it's just a seed, then it comes from the ground and it's a
Yeah,
plant. And
it's
then,
growing.
yes.
Yeah, it's growing to some full plant. Well, I'm not really expert in seeds, but let me think about it. I could imagine. So if you have some
Okay.
seed, yeah,
But
and it's
a
growing, yeah,
disaster happened.
and get to the plant, and then yeah,
A
it's
storm.
reaching.
What if
Yeah,
a storm?
it's reaching certain particular level, and after that, probably depending on what kind of seed is that, because some plants are kind of growing for, I don't know. I remember in my school material there was a tree which I think 5,000 years kind of it's still growing. I mean, I think it's called baobab. I mean, some kind
Mhm.
of African
Yeah,
tree.
it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, other seeds and other plants are probably kind of dying faster. But it's reaching some kind of potential, and then it has a seasons. When they are kind of hibernating and maybe Yeah, that's what comes to my mind when we are talking about seed. Am I missing something?
No, let's take that tree. I think it's called baobab. It's something similar to that. Let's take that tree. It get
Mhm.
to a certain stage. What
Yes.
but the not only that tree, but any plant at a certain stage, outside elements can come in and can stunt the growth. Maybe the weather,
Hmm.
maybe the climate, maybe
True.
wind. Yes.
Yeah, there are some conditions. It could be that inhibit kind of the development of the tree, or yeah, there are some conditions which could come, or factors which can stop development.
Okay.
And
And
so
we can
if we
go on.
please. Mhm. Yeah, I think we have a little bit of delay. Yeah, I'm trying to match kind of what is going on with my issue, because I actually made myself recover, but because recovery, I was recovering through certain particular method which I developed. I was training, every like each eye separately, and
Hmm.
as a result, I was able kind of to uh, to discover those muscles which were causing the myopia. So yeah, right now I'm 100% sure kind of what is the source of myopia. It's actually simple dysfunction of certain muscles. So I actually get some kind of conscious control over those muscles. But the problem with these muscles is that in order to see, I need to really kind of work with it. So I'm kind of tensing it and making effort, and then I see. So as soon as I'm not able to do effort anymore, and like, oh, tired, boom, and I'm going back to myopia. And I don't see what exactly am I supposed to do, and I feel kind of stuck on some level. So I'm not sure where the solution really is to complete the the task which I took for myself in terms of full recovery. So you see, I'm getting back to my issue because I'm trying to
Hmm.
switch between the seed and baobab to actually trying to see if there is any analogy in it.
Let's
Uh,
stay with the baobab tree for a minute.
yeah.
Okay, something happened to the tree, and then it stunted its growth.
Hmm.
So in nature, the tree knows in order to keep growing, it need to reach out for the minerals for whatever it need to continue growing.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
finds the solution to continue growing.
Well, that's true. I mean, in order to survive, I think that tree will adapt and try to compensate. There is a compensation mechanism in everything. So if something inhibits kind of development, I think there are other systems kind of take over, and as a result, the tree will develop other functions. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe roots will be longer,
Hmm.
to reach some minerals, or who knows, maybe develop some particular features.
Hmm.
So if I would bring this towards what I do, well, to be honest, I am already, I think, develop all those compensational things. When you don't have a good vision, sometimes I'm laughing. I'm navigating like a bat, yeah, a bat. Sorry, not bat. I mean, like a yeah. So yeah, sometimes I'm actually relying on my hearing and some other kind of pattern recognition things and other. Yeah, you're developing amazing different kind of systems which people who has a good vision they don't need and never use. And I do have those things. So I could kind of sometimes recognize people far, just using, just to have a feeling of the way they move. I don't see their faces. I recognize them, long before I could actually see their faces. So there are some other developing kind of things. But my goal for this session is actually how to succeed in exactly what I wanted to, not by compensation. Actually have a complete kind of good vision, 100% vision done. Not just to grow big ears, and able to, to instead of seeing, being able to just, hear everything and be happy with that.
Okay,
So,
let me ask you something. You said vision. Tell me what vision is to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, in my mind, there is a kind of broader understanding, like association type of word related to vision. Because vision is connected in my head with the kind of vision of the future, or almost like a mission. Yeah, there are broader, and there is a very specific, like a precise type of vision which associated with this word. So right now, when I'm talking about vision, I'm talking about very narrow, precise, being able to say what number of the car when you see car, I don't know, 70 meters away from you. That's kind of vision. So the eyesight, practically. That's what I mean by
eyesight. That's what I was looking. Okay,
Yeah.
so you got eyesight and vision, and you're at a point, just like the tree, you compensated, you found a way to get better, you started back growing, and now you're at a point where, just like the tree, which is like an enormous tree, so big that it can hold water, and an elephant can go inside at one time to drink this water. It's that big. So you're at that point now. But what I'm hearing is you are still seeking to go back. Is it possible that you're looking for what once was, even though you've gained so many different things along this journey? Like you said, you can see, or you have this kind of like a sixth sense, you hear, and all of these things have been enhanced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking for that. Before this happened, you had no problems with your sight. Then it happened. Then you found a solution. And now you want to go back to where you have no problem 100% of the time. But just like in all things, as we grow, those muscles, is it possible that they have changed, like all muscles in our body? As we age, they change. So is it possible that what you're looking for is...
I see your point. And to be honest, it's a good point. And I very nice. I am happy to discuss it. It's really, really nice. It's a nice point. There are two clarifications I would like to make. First of all, in my mind, it's not just getting back. It maybe I make you think that I just want to getting back to my perfect vision, but it's not the point. The point is that I would like to create a full solution, not a partial one. And so in my mind, it's not just getting back. It's just, is that a solution or it's not? I mean, why? Because I really believe that if I would succeed in that, I could tell people, yeah, guys, that's what you need to do because this is solution. And right now I cannot say it. It's not because I couldn't get back. I cannot even say, is it really solution? Can you really get back from -15 to 100%? I cannot say, guys, you can, because I couldn't complete. I cannot say that solution is full. And I agree with you. It's maybe there is a assumption that it's almost like I wanna restore the eyesight, but actually I'm right now already 57, almost 60 years old. I mean, so maybe my eyes already deteriorated, not in relation to myopia at all, and I'm still thinking to get back to when my eyesight was when I was 11. And yeah, it's actually a very good point. So as a result, it's like there is an underlying another factor which I'm not considering. The factor is that every organ is developing, and 60 years old eyes are not the same as 11 years old eyes.
Mhm.
So even if it's a really good solution, but it may be just not working because of other factors, if I take it into consideration. Is that what you're saying, right, Alice? Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Going to.
I
So-
agree. Totally.
Well, at this
Totally.
I'm going to invite John in to see if he's picked up on something while we were talking that maybe something kind of clicked in that he might want to ask you.
Well, I want to acknowledge Alex, in both of this discussion about how there was some awareness and insight in this difference between the 11-year-old and the 60-year-old. So having that kind of brought to the surface, but I guess, part of the other question is understanding that and maybe shifting a little bit of the assumptions, as you said, Alex. The other thing is, what is getting in the way of your success in moving forward?
Nice question. And I have in my mind, I don't know whether it is a real kind of obstacles or just in my mind, because one of the problems which I believe I have is that why I'm not really wearing glasses. I'm not wearing glasses for 20 years already, deliberately, because when I'm wearing glasses, it's almost like I'm disabling my muscles even to work. I mean, it's like I discovered that my glasses are almost like fixing my eye in that weak state and make it even worse. So I just dropped glasses, even though in the beginning it was really difficult, but I'm happy that I do. Sorry, you said what is, yeah, I just got back to the question. One of my excuses is that what deteriorate my eyes a lot is the working in a close distance, like with a computer. And that's what I do 12 hours per day. I know, day after day, week after week, year after year. So from I'm trying to improve my eyesight and do sometimes 1 hour exercises, actually not every day even. And I'm at the same time doing 12 hours per day against it. I mean, no wonder I'm hitting plateau, because I'm quite aware that all my work with computer and online and everything is very much based on something which is completely against what I'm trying to achieve. But at this point, I don't see how can I change it, because that's my business and that's what I do. I mean, and I'm happy to do what I do. So the only problem is that it's actually working against my goal in relation to the eyesight improvement. So that's a big excuse, right, John? Does it sound like a decent one?
Well, I think it's an awareness that you know, and again, another moment of saying, well, this is also what transpires during the day, right? And acknowledging that the amount of screen time that you're having. So we've got age factors, we've now
Very
got
nice.
the technology factors.
Nice.
So what other factors might need to be considered?
Well, to be honest, those two already quite huge. To be honest, I don't believe in age, seriously, but I do believe in 12 hours of screen time.
Mm.
And that's really that's position of that's what muscle, the muscles, they have a fatigue kind of, they have muscles supposed to work like they supposed to work, and when you stare at computer at the same distance in the same environment at the same and eventually you make your muscle literally stuck, because it's almost like a tense your arm and hold it in this tense position without movement for 12 hours. Can you believe it? What it will make with, like, what kind of impact it's gonna kind of on your muscle? And when you do it day after day for many years, well, people have myopia, no wonder. And yeah, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Right now, I have a little bit, not a little bit, actually, seriously different perspective of what that plateau is really all about, and why I hit it kind of probably already like 2-3 years ago and still on it. And I don't know in reality evaluation what would be, but I would put it this way, like my intuitive kind of part. I would put it that the contribution into the plateau, I would put 20%, 25% on the age, and 75-80% on the screen time. Yeah, seriously, that's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like a guess. So the feeling is that that's what actually all that plateau is all about. And that's, thank you very much. It's a huge thing for me to, I don't know, solution, but at least to understand what that plateau, it's not about, I really believe it's not about the method is not correct, but it's about the forces or lifestyle which I have, which at present moment works against it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm aware of that. And that's very nice. It's actually a relief.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe it's a method, a kind of fault. Now I don't think so, thanks to you.
Well,
So
I think, like in anything in life, we start off at one place, and then as we grow and things change, we transform and we move forward and we learn and we adjust. New technology, that 20% age, all of those things come into play.
true.
And like all things in nature, we have to look at those and adjust to them.
Yeah.
So at least I'm happy you got that, and just something to think about, a new awareness.
Perfect. That's true.
Yes, it's not you or your method. Sometimes it's not always the method. It's just basically that's what it is. You can't, the technology, you can't do without it. That's what we do.
Other factors, yeah, that's what I have a serious relief in relation to, at least I cannot blame that something is missing in the method. Unless I remove those factors which works against it, then I will check. Because I need to kind of approach it in a very scientific way, because if I stop doing screen time, and if I do everything remove everything what works against, and then we'll see what will be result before I can say that, well, there is some kind of fault in method and I hit plateau and something is missing. guys, thank you very much. That's huge relief. Yeah, it's another story how to develop strategy, to eliminate some kind of those counter factors. But yeah, it's already a different topic for different session. So I thank you both. Good job.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
allowing me. I guess we will bring in our supervisor here now to talk with us.
Yes, please.
Well, it was a nice coaching session with a lot of awareness, by the way, because you began with a lot of confusion, and during the session until the end, you develop some kind of clarity. And maybe this clarity can be really important to develop a new strategy based on the new insights you had during this session. Because age has a certain type of impact. Also, I knew because in this period my sister was just told me about this topic, that glasses are one of the cheat of the medicine, because they don't allow your eyes to move and exercise the muscles. By the way, I use glasses, and also I think, well, I am a very lazy person.
Well, glasses make eyes lazy. There is an even term, lazy eye. There is actually a medical term. It's actually
And it's true, because I remember when I spent 2 to 3 years without glasses, and I have not myopia, but presbyopia is, I don't see anything close to me. By the way, I was obliged to somehow, without glasses, to make an effort to see things. Now with glasses, I see that my capacity to exercise my eyes is really reduced a lot. And another thing was really the use of metaphors was really nice. The baobab. No, it's important because you can open up to different ways to see things, and it was just right after the metaphor that Alex gained more clarity and has had his insights. So I think you did a good work. And now, Alice, we are really curious to know which kind of new techniques you can be able to develop.
Oh no, this is different topic. It's a long story, because exercises are very, very kind of specific and strange, I would say. Yeah, it's not for this session kind of type of talk. I think one day I really need to demonstrate it, but I need to complete kind of the job I started first. Because, yeah. And but mainly exercises are, how to say, targeting the like exposing your muscles of your eyes to some different, how to say it, stimulus. Like, for example, when there is a warm and cold comes together, like, for example, when you have a wind, like cold wind, and when you open your eyes and really allow that cold to come, and then you warm it, and then you go and expose your eyes to the sun, and then go to shadow. All those, like every way you could stimulate your eyes to be exposed to the range. What usually happens is that the eyes started practically kind of almost like a crying. I mean, the tears are coming, and soon you're gonna start feeling around your eyes that kind of strange, almost not a pain, but it actually indicates that the muscles which were almost like an atrophy, they waking up. So that's what happens when you start exposing your eyes to those opposite kind of range of stimulus. And I think what we do as a humans, being in the same environment, in the same light, in the same, so that sameness kills the function. Eyes are supposed to be exposed to lots of different stimuluses, and being all the time in the apartment and looking at all the time on a distance of, I don't know, 25 centimeters, and having no sun or shadow, or it's just crazy. You know, it's not how our eyes designed to operate. So eventually, yeah, what happens is that our muscles got spasmed and stuck, and then we develop nearsightedness. So yeah, it's like this is the idea. But exercises, I have like a dozen of specific weird, strange exercises which waking up your muscles. So, but you will be crying like crazy. I'm crying for hours. I am the most crying person. Kind of sometimes I'm walking and people are looking at me like, "Wow, that's a weirdo," because my eyes the tears are coming, and I am kind of smiling and tears are coming all over, and people like, "Wow, that's a weird guy." You know. So that's if you would see me on the streets, you would have lots of fun, because that's my eye exercises. Yeah. But after that, I feel, wow, around my eyes is crazy feeling, because all those muscles, which usually you are not aware how spasmed kind of they are, you become aware. It's amazing, huge spasm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So.
And by the way, you just said a great truth, that we are not designed to do always the same things. We need to change constantly. I saw this with the body. For example, by studying neuroscience, I learned that changing each day the type of exercises, this helps also neuroplasticity.
Oh, yeah.
And this helps to build more neurons. So whatever we do with our body is helping us to develop new capacities and improve also the brain's capacities. I mean, brains, we have three brains: gut brains, heart brains, and brain. And all what we do by changing habits constantly and frequently, we really develop the flexibility muscles in all ways. I'm speaking about 360. The example of the eyes, the example of the body, or just cooking. For example, this week my sister and I decided to cook different things and cook together instead of exchanging, and was really very creative experiment. And also we enjoyed much more eating too.
Nice, very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, changing the way we behave, or in terms of fitness, yeah, that's a kind of Navy SEALs and all that kind of special forces. They already, for dozens of years, kind of applying the system of tricking your body every time with the new exercises, so they don't really repeat kind of on a longer term, because every time do something different. Sometimes acceleration, sometimes long distance run, sometimes push up. That's every time different, so body cannot get used to it. It's always challenged. Yeah.
Yes.
To be honest, that's an amazing kind of way of training, and I can imagine that it can be applied to other areas of your life, not just physical training, but habits and other stuff. So, John,
Yes.
what about what is your kind of your take, kind of what your observation of the session? What can you comment?
Well, just as I said earlier, and to Irene's point too, I mean, just the awareness and some of the clarity that came through, and what you said is it was right now it's not about how to do the exercise, but more about those external things that you were able to identify. And that's, you know,
Yeah.
I always say it's like the first step in a process, right? And sometimes we've got to, before we actually, you know, kind of embrace the exercise, we've got to understand what those outside forces may be playing into the whole. You know what I mean? It may not
Yeah.
necessarily be the full answer. And I think finally, you know, it's really interesting as everybody was talking, because one of the things that they've been telling the kids to do, because they've been looking at the screen for so long and they've got those young eyes, you know, those young eyes that we were talking about earlier. And you know, they said after each class, you know, go to a window and look at the sky. You know, if you can go outside, look up into the sky, look at the trees, so that you're shifting that perspective, you're
Yeah.
shifting that vision and that focus to help your eyes. So it was much of what you were all talking about, but just kind of reinforcing that it is important for us to look, you know, to look differently, you know, because many of us are on this screen and we're in these same spaces, and we're not shifting and changing things very often. So
We are losing range, you know,
mhm.
which we're supposed to have. I right now I'm doing that kind of cold water kind of Wim Hof thing, and it's the same, exactly the same idea. We lost range of temperatures, which we for millions of years we were exposed, and now we have just 20 all the time. I mean, it's crazy. It's not normal. It's yeah. So as a result, lots of stuff coming from that losing range. I think the whole source of myopia is precisely the same. We lost range. Okay, that yeah, I really enjoyed the session. As a coach, I always, when I'm teaching, kind of I'm training coaches, and we are talking about metaphor and how to conduct metaphorical sessions. I always personally, I always aiming for my client to come up with the metaphor instead of giving it to. Sometimes when you give it to the client, it works and it goes well. For example, this time with Alice, Alice, you asked me a question about, can you come up with some idea about nature? And somehow I struggled to come up on my own, and you proposed the seed. And in the beginning, for me, I felt a little bit of resistance. I was thinking, well, I'm not a gardener. I have now no idea about seeds. I know they are growing. That's it. I mean, like, so I spotted like internally, and that's what I would like you to kind of, to all of us to be aware that in your mind, it could be maybe good example. In client's mind, they could have resistance. Sometimes they not. They could take it and like, wow, this is exactly. But there could be times when they don't accept it. So in my case today, I actually accepted it after a while. After Alice explained to me, that it could not, after I kind of got patient with that and explored a little bit, I totally embraced it. But I just want us as a coaches to be aware that as soon as you have as soon as you feel resistance of the client that he's not getting it, maybe we need to rephrase it. Because Alice, you asked me, can you think about in nature? So I would personally probably would come up with some kind of metaphor on my own if your question would be not already directing me into some kind of nature. Or, I mean, if you would just ask me, okay, do you feel stuck kind of in that, or you feel that you hit the plateau? What is it like to hit a plateau? And then stop, and I could come up, who knows? I mean, not necessarily nature, not necessarily, I could come up, well, to hit the plateau, it's like digging for treasure, and suddenly, boom, you get into some kind of stone, and you try and you just cannot get through. You see that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what comes to my mind. Has nothing to do. Yeah. So that's why what you did this session, it worked, and eventually, I enjoyed it fully. But I just, because we all wants to kind of to grow and to see what else can we do, how else can be done. So the first thing, I'm always trying to with the client is that to ask a question open and completely not biased. What is it like?
Yeah.
And people will come up with, you cannot even imagine. I mean,
with us being coaches, I mean, that's really good. I really appreciate you bringing that, because as this is like one of those coachable moments where, you brought that into as a coach, because you are a coach, you were kind of able to kind of work with it and go with it, where if someone wasn't a coach, they might not have been. So
yes.
I appreciate that. This is one of those coachable moments, which is what we want to let the people that watch see. So yes.
Precisely. And I noticed a little bit of tiny resistance, and then exploring with you what seed really does, then yeah, that's true. It can hit his own plateau when the conditions are not good, and it's like eventually I got it, but it took me a little bit of my effort.
Resistance there, and I was like, oh man, I knew Alex was gonna be trouble.
No, it's awesome, and I really enjoyed it. And to be honest, it's nice to be stretched, kind of in direction which it's good. It worked very well, and I'm super happy with the session, because it's like the whole value of that session. As always, that's what coaching is all about. It's not like I never knew, though. I was just focusing on something else, and we were completely ignoring other things, which right now that session brought it to the surface, and now I'm aware that, well, it's actually, I don't see the problem the way I see it. I saw it, I don't know, 1 hour ago, not anymore. And this is the huge thing, because it allows me now to develop different strategies. I don't feel stuck. I see that could be the explanation and the reason. That's very simple. I just couldn't see it 1 hour ago. I stuck in my kind of method, and without even realization that actually I'm doing lots of stuff against it at the same time.
So we had a bit mindset shift too.
Yeah. So shall we wrap it up? So guys, next time, we will be, I probably will stop recording soon. I think we've done a great job. I would like to congratulate everyone. And
Thank you.
and we will meet next week, right? At the same time, Tuesday at 5.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.